AI with Alex Merced.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, your friendly neighborhood Lakehouse and AI guy. And in this video, what I want to do is talk about Apache Iceberg. So if Apache Arrow handled how we stored columnar data in memory, Apache Parquet handled how we stored columnar data on disk, the problem becomes that oftentimes really large data sets are more than one Parquet file, and there's nothing sort of making it easy. So while Parquet files gave you metadata to handle what's in the Parquet file, it didn't give you metadata to handle what's happening between multiple Parquet files. And this is where Apache Iceberg comes in. The way I think about Apache Iceberg is that you may have a data set of, let's say, 1,000 Parquet files. Apache Iceberg acts as like a metadata wrapper around those files, giving you information about those files as a whole. What files have what information, which files, what's inside those files, how many records, how many nulls, all these kinds of things. It gives you all this metadata. So now that an engine doesn't have to actually, like, let's say there's a file that doesn't have any information that's relevant to the particular question that's being answered. Using the metadata, we could just choose not to open that file. It may be part of the data set. It may be part of the table. So basically Apache Iceberg is defining, hey, these are the files that are part of the table, but it's also giving us the metadata to be able to say, hey, out of the 1,000 files that are part of the table, which of those files do we actually need to load up? Which means, hey, go retrieve them from disk, then load them up as memory. And, again, that would be typically as Apache Arrow to then process. And again, the less data you work with, the faster you can process the data. So Apache Arrow allows you to kind of determine which files you want to work with. And then Apache Parquet gives you metadata to figure out, hey, what's inside those files you want to work with. And then again, you can load that up very quickly as Arrow and then process it really fast. So you're seeing sort of the big picture here. So now I can store data outside of a data system. So no longer am I having to store it in a particular data warehouse or database. I can say, hey, I'm going to store it on a storage system like an Amazon S3 or typically an object storage system of some sort. Store it as these Parquet files. And these Parquet files will be cataloged and organized by Apache Iceberg metadata. So we understand which data sets are which. And then again, using Apache Arrow, systems that process this data can do it really, really, really fast. So hopefully that gives you the big picture. There's still a couple more components left to talk about, but hopefully that gives you an idea sort of what Apache Iceberg is. I've written a whole book. Some of them you can kind of see here in the background on the topic of Apache Iceberg. So there's a lot to say. I also check out my blogs. But if you want to learn more about Apache Iceberg, there's definitely the resources to do so.
Learn more with books from books.alexmerced.